Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Beyond the Summit presentation, which has already cut you off. Vici Gaming versus Invictus Gaming. It's bright and early here in California, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are.
Bright and early.
Well, it's just early. It's
I
not bright
wish
yet.
it was bright and early, but it's all right. We've a show of what's to come. Lumi interrupting me.
Yeah,
I'll be sure to get him back.
that's generally how it rolls. I just interrupt everybody.
It's all good.
But today we're going to be casting the winner bracket of the semifinals.
Winner bracket semifinals.
Yes.
One of the two. IG versus Vici Gaming, and then we have LGD up against Tongfu next. So the four biggest names in this tournament.
And I don't think anybody's surprised by that. So I think what we saw from the previous 2 days of the SinaCup Supernova Dota 2 Open is the two teams or the winning teams are basically just routing the other two. Quick 2-0s, 20-minute games. And I think today and moving forward, we're going to see a little bit more closer games. And I think all of us are looking forward to that.
Yeah, this series especially with Vici Gaming acquiring ROTK and Super, I feel this is a really strong team all of a sudden. They don't have any sort of standout star potential, but I think they have a really well-rounded team. FY and Fenrir have played amazingly in support. Fenrir on that Rubik the other day was absolutely fantastic. FY has already been hyped up. He won the 1v1 tournament that was in China, which was in the G1 League, I believe, beating CTY in the final. So
Yes.
this is your support player. So he's obviously got incredible individual skill. And then you've got Tutu, who's playing the carry role. Not really the weak link, I would say, but definitely sort of the player who stands out the least in his role.
Don't want to take anything away from Fenrir, but on the interview that he gave after beating CTY in the 1v1 Grand Final, he said that...
FY, you mean, not Fenrir.
FI, sorry. Yeah. FY says he practiced against CTY a lot as his practice partner for the 1v1 tournament. And then they made up to the final, and he somehow was able to take a game off of him. So that's
He
kind
beat
of how...
like Ferrari and like some
Well,
other
yeah.
place to get to the final.
when you're
so-
practicing against CTY,
Yeah.
you know, you get better as well.
Okay.
So, yeah. But nothing to take him away from him. He's an excellent player. But let's actually talk about the draft here. We have Vici and Rubik as your two selection for Vici Gaming, and most likely we're going to see Finrar on that magical Rubik. Your two supports already selected. What do you feel about selecting your two supports so early, especially when it's not like Vici and Naga Siren together, which is a combo that we've seen a lot of teams go to and go back to a lot? I think Rubik is a selection to mostly as a counter to Weaver.
Yeah, I think Rubik becomes a bit more high priority when you see that Weaver on the field. If there wasn't the Weaver pick, maybe they go a different route and just say, hey, if we want the Rubik still, we can get a third or fourth. So I think that sort of gave them an extra incentive to pick it, combined with the fact they're also sort of keeping their cards hidden from IG. IG don't know what their core heroes are going to be, whereas Vici Gaming know they're going to have to be dealing with at least a Weaver as one of those sort of three cores.
Yeah, also interesting to see ROTK adjusting his ban order a little bit. I think against whoever Vici Gaming beat the other day, Ogura Yue, they were actually first picking and first banning Elder Titan. Now it seems like he's only not too afraid of that hero, kind of resorting it as a fourth ban. And I'm sad to see not any Elder Titan for this particular game, but we might probably still see it in the series.
Yeah, Game 2, Game 3, who knows. ROTK, the only Elder Titan so far in the SinaCup, I believe, and it was a absolutely incredible performance from him. That, to me, was like one of my favorite games so far in the tournament. Seeing Elder Titan played how it should be played.
Yeah, and of course, obviously, he had a very easy lane and easy setup a lot of time. His opponent didn't really respect the power of Elder Titan, perhaps, and that's why he got amazing setups everywhere he went. But for now, we're going to leave that and table that discussion for another day.
Yeah.
Dragon Knight is going to be the pickup here for Invictus Gaming. 430 knows how to play this hero, and, well, I'm actually looking forward to the 430 Super matchup. Super, whatever he's going to pick up for himself, should have the advantage there.
Yeah, these guys have versed each other so many times back with like the DK-IG rivalry when these two teams were playing non-stop in top-tier tournaments. So both players will be very familiar with one another. DK not a hero who wins mid lane, but he's just a hero that doesn't lose the mid lane ever, I feel.
Yeah, and it's actually looking at Invictus Gaming's lineup is that they're so tanky going forward. Dragon Knight, Naga Siren, and Weaver have their own survivability tools. And with a support like Rubik, he's not going to really do much. One thing I've noticed about Rubik's support is that you really rely on the rest of the team in terms of damage output. He's not like a Naga Siren, he's not like a Visage where you can get the damage output. Sure, there's Fable and whatever spell that he steals, but that's very reliant. And there you go, you need a carry that could dish out the damage output, and it's going to be in the form of a gyrocopter. Generally, in the past, you could always say, you know, we could go up from the tri-lane with this, we could go solo mid with this, but as of late, it's always on the one-row carry. So I don't think we're going to expect anything fancy out of Vici Gaming.
Yeah, this is their trialing we're seeing made up here. I wouldn't even expect them to go offensive trialing, despite the fact that it's a very strong trialing that they could do it with. I don't think it's a risk that Chinese teams generally make. They don't like to pick up those safe lane solos for the 1v1 matchups. It's a 1v1 matchup likely against a Weaver as well, so Weaver can do just fine against most heroes there.
Yeah, the only time we actually see an offensive trialing in Chinese games is with, like, ungodly powerful trialings. We're talking about Alchemist, Crystal Maiden, and Dying, something like that, or Earthshaker, THD, and Visage. Something that just walks over any other lane. And Gyrocopter is not exactly a hero that could do that. When you fail that offensive trialing, it's very, very difficult to make a recovery. Now, for Dragon Knight, the other day we saw him, I think he was actually in a safe lane carry. You think we're going to see
Wisp
some?
DK, yeah.
Yeah, Wisp DK. I don't know how you feel about that, especially now with the Timbersaw being picked up. Both, or actually all three of these here, Weaver, Dragon Knight, and Timbersaw, are very versatile in those lane choices. Yeah. Any guesses on what we're going to see me? Or
I think it's a safe lane Weaver. I think DK's natural habitat is in the middle lane. Timbersaw is kind of either a mid hero or an off lane hero, which puts Weaver as a safe lane hero. Combine that with the fact that Weaver to me is Hao's best hero. It's almost his trademark hero over the last 6 months. So I'd definitely say this is a Hao Weaver, and he's playing that safe lane farmer role generally.
Yeah, Hao Weaver is actually very impressive, especially I think back in the days of Alien World Cup. I think that's where he really made his name. He would just actually gank with his Weaver. He would easily get a godlike streak beyond the 25-minute mark. And we'll see how he's going to actually trying to put that one together against Vici Gaming, who is looking extremely powerful. They need a solo mid. That can be the solo mid, I think. Although
Alchemist
again, with Alchemist,
DK 1v1.
I mean, Alchemist should have that lane easy, right?
Yeah. If they're at the same time, if they're at this point they're expecting IG to be running that offlane Timbersaw, a safe tri lane, a solo mid, do they even consider putting Alchemist as their safe lane farmer? Just because Alchemist gets a lot more from the safe lane farm than a Gyrocopter if they want to put Gyro mid.
And Gyro actually beats DK mid, so I actually like the idea more and more now that you have brought it up. As a melee hero, Rocket Barrage is going to do a ton against Dragon Knight, so we'll see if they do actually want to make the lane switch up. But I completely agree with you. Alchemist with the safe lane free farm gets you like a 15-minute Shadow Blade, and suddenly even heroes like Weaver's got to be very careful.
Yeah, well, one more pick for both the two teams. IG need another support. Vici Gaming need what looks to be an offlane here.
Yes.
Is there anything that sort of stands out for either of the two teams?
I mean, if Eltarian wasn't in the pool, that's something I'll say. You can see a Clockwork being banned out as well. Darkseer's not in the pool anymore. And of course, Batrider being... I guess Nature's Prophet is something that they could turn towards too. It's a hero that you could go fairly late with. But again, it's a hero that doesn't naturally give you a ton of damage output right from the beginning. And I have to kind of echo my own sentiments and concerns for Vici Gaming's lineup. Dragon Knight, Timbersaw, Naga, and Weaver. These heroes are extremely tanky. And I don't think Vici Gaming has enough damage so far. So if you pick something like a Bounty Hunter, for example, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah, I was about to say, Bounty Hunter is like the most obvious offlane hero left in the pool, but it doesn't feel like it's a hero that will actually do a whole lot this game to IG's lineup. You're going to have the track against the Weaver, but I feel like even with that factor coming into mind, it doesn't really... The hero still is just going to be very, very weak. Tanky DK, Timbersaw, these heroes will just soak up any Bounty Hunter harass.
Yep, Crystal Maiden is going to be the last pick up here, so that's going to give Invictus... Ooh, okay.
There's an offlane hero for you.
I mean, is that just a straight-up offlane Spirit Breaker? It seems like it is. ROTK is going to select...
Or Tri-Lane?
Or Tri-Lane.
Go Tri-Lane.
We did see ROTK actually go safe lane the other day and had 2-2 play the offlane on the Lone Druid, I believe. So it really comes down to the heroes, and we'll exactly see which lane these players are going to end up in. But ROTK is going to be playing Spirit Breaker. The recent trend is that Spirit Breaker is being played on a carry role, much different from the Western kind of your supportive Spirit Breaker. We'll see how ROTK is going to play this one. FY is going to be playing Rubik, not Finrar. Speaking of him, he is going to be playing Visage on the bot lane. Meanwhile, we have Tutu playing the Gyrocopter, seemingly a one-row Gyrocopter. And last but not least, Super on the mid lane on that solo mid Alchemist.
Well, for the Dire side, it's Team Invictus Gaming IG. We've got YYF. He's playing the offlane on the Timbersaw. We've got to have Ferrari 430 actually playing the Weaver. So not going to be the Hao Weaver. It's going to be Hao playing the Dragon Knight. Looks to be a safe lane farmer. Crystal Maiden being played by Faith. And then 1-2-3 or Banana playing the support Naga Siren.
Yeah, very interesting hero and player distributions. I did not expect Hao to be giving up that hero. But in terms of a 1v1 matchup mid, I saw also there's a misclick glyph coming out on the IG sky. Man, all of these, maybe it's early for them as well. But Alchemist versus Weaver mid. I mean, Weaver should definitely have the advantage. I think Weaver would maybe force to get a quick bottle depending on how impressive the harassment coming out from the acid spray is. But even once he gets his bottle, he's going to have a very easy time securing the runes with Sakuchi.
Yeah, this will be, I think, Bottle Crow versus Bottle Crow in some ways, except Weaver getting a lot more of those runes. Spirit Breaker can maybe help out. Imagine we see him camping all of these runes. He's actually going to get in. Nope.
Denied. Yeah.
Denied him his rune.
Yeah,
Nice
you'll trade a frostbite though if you're RTK. It's like whatever, a tango for a third of your mana.
He's got 2 tangos, salve, gauntlet of strength, and stout shield.
Yeah.
How do you zone this out as a crystal main? I guess with the Naga Siren's help you can.
Yeah, you really can't, to be completely honest. Naga Siren, very much so similar to a Clockwork, one of those melee here that walks straight up to you and you just have to back off. But looks like we might even see it go. Top lane Riptide is going to be the opening. No, just going to be physical harass, zoning him out. But the P-Shooter of Crystal Maiden is not going to do anything there. Also, looks like we have 430 dropping extremely low down the mid lane here. 40 HP, forces Salve back up. A lot of physical harass being traded out, and I guess 56 base damage is enough to ward him away.
Well, it's a new metagame. The tanky offlaner seems to be the way to go. Timbersaw getting picked up more. We're seeing Space Cow in the offlane. Timbersaw, similar story. Stout Shield, a lot of starting regen, even the 1 point in reactive armor. So this harass is giving him bonus armor, giving him some HP regen that he can shrug off. Fenrir not really able to zone out Timbersaw here in the bottom lane.
Oh, Crystal Maiden's going to kind of tango with RTK a little bit. Meanwhile, similar thing happening on the bot lane. I really like the Crystal Maiden as a very last selection pick. You need a support that could basically disable ROTK when he's charging into you or away from the lane. And the two best heroes to do that is Crystal Maiden with a semi-instant Frostbite, or as well as Rubik's Telekinesis Lift. Obviously, Rubik already selected on Vici Gaming side. So that's something to consider. Also, the reason I believe that they switched up the lanes to put the Weaver mid instead of a Dragon Knight is that it's very easy for the Spirit Breaker to charge the mid lane and set up a Alchemist Stun, and that should be enough to set up kill. Now, Weaver with Sakuchi generally makes that thing a lot more difficult, so I think that's the reason why they swapped up the lanes a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually a really good point, because you can charge a Weaver, but you're not going to be able to kill him off, I don't think, because he just Sakuchis right before he gets hit by the charge, and then he escapes quite easily.
Or he will Sakuchi to dodge the Alchemist Stun, so...
Yeah.
Oh, meanwhile, it looks like we have a Rocket hitting on the bot lane. Not too sure when they're going to make it go. They're going to try to do so. Here we go. Rocket Barrage and a lift. Wow, taking a ton of damage. Charge and make sure they get the kill. They do get the kill. Well, halfway across the rune, RTK says, thank you, double damage, 15 exact same thing, bite it to deny. Alright, well, that's fine. I mean, RTK is actually doing okay. He's got level 2 on the off lane. He's not getting any farm, but I don't think he's expect to get any farm. He just wants to apply charging pressure on the map, and it doesn't show on the scoreboard, but again, Ferrari as well as YYF have to play with in mind of a Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, and Timbersaw's going to TP right back down bottom lane. He's trying to prevent this tier 1 tower going down, but it looks like this is going to be a 2.5, 3-minute tower going the way of Vici Gaming.
And here we go, tier 1 tower, going to get lasted up by 2-2 Gyrocopter. Very nicely done.
Well, that's a nice early game boost, but the problem is now this lane's going to be pushing out. YYF will have it at his tower to get some easy levels and farm, unless the supports decide to pressure him, which they're not going to do. They're smoking up. Fenrir and FY heading towards the middle lane.
Yeah, I really like this. Generally, you expect your supports to basically pull the lane back.
And you have charge for vision, too.
Yeah, you do have charge for vision. That's not the problem, though, because you could easily get things like Dust or Central, where the problem is how do you actually lock him down? You need telekinesis, and you need, well, basically your nuke to actually hit at the same time. Well, 430 using his Sakuchi, which, by the way, does have a fairly long cooldown for now, dropping the Wraith Brand and bottle up. Here we go. They're going to come around. They really need telekinesis lift. They gotta go basically right at the same time. 430 realize what's going on because you're charging across an observer ward, and this is generally why, for the longest time, we don't think Spirit Breaker works in the pro game because you would just charge across a war vision and it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and the two supports have been missing for some time, so it looks like Weaver maybe knew what was up with them, but they're gonna rotate back bottom, look for another opening to go on YYF on that Timbersaw. If he pokes out too far, and definitely see another attempted engagement on him. Yeah,
I don't think it's going to work out now that he has Timber Chain at level 4 or level 3. I think that's where he got it. The physical harass is not going to be impressive anymore. He gets that FY as well as 2-2. It's not even trying to do physically harass because you're not really going to harass him down. So I think all of these lanes are very passive for Vici Gaming, and as a result, IG could actually kind of try to make a comeback just having passive kind of Rice Wars.
Regen rune spawns bottom, and Weaver, Ferrari is already there for it. We don't even see Alchemist going for runes right now. He's just content to Bottle Crow, knowing that Weaver's going to get all the runes. So he's doing just fine as far as CS goes. He's up to 17 CS, actually 1 CS ahead of the Weaver, so pretty much even on the middle lane.
Yep, back in the top lane though, looks like we have Dragon Knight gaining a lot more CS, 7 more CS than our Gyrocopter counterpart. Not exactly expecting ROTK to do anything here. Timbersaw much better as an off lane, but despite of that, he's level 3, so he's gonna get more experience under tower. Meanwhile, looks like we have a little bit of engagement on the bot lane here. YYF's gonna get picked off. A Rainbow TP comes in, but I don't think they have anything. 430 comes in. Sakuchi's getting a little bit of movement speed. They need the lift. They will have the lift, and it's gonna be immediately tossed back. 2-2 on the run with the face. We should be okay. to run into the safety of his supports.
Yep, Alchemist is channeling a stun. He wants to maybe do a return gank here on Ferrari. Acid Spray with a stun here. This is going to be the death of Ferrari. Great Sentry Ward coming out and charge onto Banana. Banana's got nowhere to run. Cooldown is going to finish him off. Great counter gank coming in from Vici Gaming. They lead 4 kills to nothing now.
Yeah, ROTK with the charge back to the mid lane, getting a little bit of EXP from the tier 1 tower as well. I really like those charges. You never really know what's going to happen in a long engagement like that across the map. You don't know if more TP is going to end. Might as well charge. You're not missing out too much on the top lane, and if you don't get a kill like that, or you don't get to the kills,
but also calculate. He ended up directly in the middle lane to get some XP and
that
farm.
Precision is exactly where you want to be.
And this is the one thing IG are getting is farm on a safe lane DK. It doesn't really feel like that's going to be the hard carry that can turn this game around.
Yeah, if you look at the support that we're getting from Naga Siren at level 4, almost Crystal Maiden hitting 4. These supports, aside from the Naga, I guess, Crystal Maiden hitting 4 does not really matter too much. Crystal Maiden is a hero that you generally want to own the early stage of the game. Make sure that she's getting out a ton of kills. She's not involved in any so far.
Yep, and Gyrocopter is still happily farming in bottom lane. 2-2-0-0-3, just the 3 assists to his name. As Illumi, everything all good there.
I gotta make sure that every time people notice I'm online, they just add me with like, Illumi, I want to suck your cock names, which I will accept.
Fair enough.
Anyways.
I'm just going to leave you quiet with that one.
Yeah.
I had another name I was going to bring up, but it wasn't appropriate.
And mine was?
Well, mine was actually more appropriate, but I didn't want to start drama.
Okay, fair enough. Super's going to get himself stunned here. I'm very surprised to see RTK didn't initiate with a charge. Maybe they're actually thinking about the same thing. Maybe it's thinking about getting charged.
He can get stunned, though, I guess. It's very easy stun for the DK onto the Spirit Breaker. As we're going to see these two heroes still sitting at the top lane. Alchemist no phase boots as of yet, which is kind of what he needs for the extra movement speed boost when he starts channeling the stun.
Yep. So how do you actually feel how the game's going right now? Vici Gaming be able to get a couple kills, 4-0 score, but it doesn't really feel like they're leading. They got a tier 1 tower and 4 kills, but they're only leading by 2,000 gold. I feel like IG is, despite how the game's going, I feel like they're leading, sort of.
I think they're doing okay. I think the feel that their lead's coming largely from how well Hao's doing as far as farm goes, but I then remind myself, this is a carry DK. It's not really your best hard carry in the game, so it kind of feels like, compared to Gyrocopter getting free farm at bottom lane, even if he's slightly less CS than the DK, I still feel like this is a more useful hero in the mid to late game. DK, you can argue, really great setup stun for the mid game, but not really the great carry.
Yep. I think trying to set up yet another kill on ROTK seems like it's very difficult to do so. They really need to initiate with the Naga and Snare and Riptide, and then follow up with the DK stun, and should he decide to charge away Frostbite as a spell to kind of lock him in place. But ROTK is not really putting him in a position for that initiation to work. And here we go, we have Arcane Boots being picked up on the Rubik as well, so very nicely farmed on the supports. And if you look at the level difference, we have a Rubik that's level 6, compared to a Naga that's, again, 4.5, and Crystal Maiden that's 4.5 as well.
This is from the kills mostly. That's where Rubik's been getting the experience. He's been involved in Lift Ferrari. Needs to maybe get him on the cliff. He's going to steal the DD rune. Doesn't get him on the cliff, though.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, level 4 Shikuchi stolen.
Yeah, I mean, that's what your level 6 Rubik gives you right now, and it's actually going to haunt 435 quite a bit. They're going to stand here. A couple of CS being traded back and forth. I'm not too sure how Ferrari got sight of that.
Hits the ward. Well, FY should know there's a ward there, because he just hit him from fog there. So the only way he sees him is with an observer ward.
Well, a single D ward could be did. They're going to go for a YYF, going to toss him right back. Not really sure what they can to get the kill. Never mind. I look at the damage output. Insane play here. And that's yet another death going to YYF. Back in the top lane. Looks like Charge is going to come in against the DK. The Sun's going to come in from Super as well. The nuke are coming out, and Hao is going to be dead.
Yeah, he stuns the Visage, so Visage can't really chase and get any more solar summoned off, but he's got another one charged up, ready to go. There's a lift. FY. He telekinesis the Naga Siren, and Banana goes down as well. 7 unanswered kills, make it 8. Faith is trying to TP out, does not stand a chance. He can save this stun for the TPing hero. He should do so. Great play from Super. He stuns YYF as he TP'd in. 2-2 goes in, has a rocket barrage, not going to chase up.
Oh, here comes ROTK precision bash time. Not necessary as double kill gets picked up by 2-2. Vici Gaming 9-0. It's a route 430 coming on the back lines here, trying to get a pick out, but there is a Sentry War available, and is there mana for charge? Nothing just yet. Super dropping low, had to earn another. Ooh, nice backtrack here. Gotta get back in time. Super.
Stun.
Uh-oh. Is he gonna be okay? He should be fine. Sun's gonna come right back in at 430. Sakuchi's running right out. Do they have charge again? Still cooling down. There's a charge. And 430 still. Do you have yet another Sentry War still going away?
Sakuchi's gonna wear off?
Yeah, it is. Ern's gonna be on top. A bash on top. And that make it 10-0. I have only seen one team in competitive Dota history ever come back from a 10-0 kind of deficit in the early game.
It wasn't Dreams.
It wasn't Dreams. It was Navi. It was Navi against another CIS Russian team, so which they were a lot better than against. So I don't expect IG to have very, very good time in the next 10 minutes.
This is looking really bad for IG. All of a sudden, it's just kill after kill going the way of Vici Gaming. They're not getting a huge amount of farm or towers, but just having all these kills. The gold loss is what's not shown on this gold graph. And now, FY going to get a lift on the Crystal Maid at mid lane. Actually changes target. The Alchemist stuns the Naga Siren instead. CM is going to be finished off by Fenrir on the Visage. And meanwhile, Naga Siren does not stand a chance. Super maybe going to be the first kill IG pick up. Yes, he is. IG get themselves on the scoreboard. A cooldown not going to latch onto YYF, but YYF goes down to a Fade Bolt. 14-1. Only Hal left standing.
Not for long though. Here comes the charge. My god, ROTK comes in. Ultimate is it going to be dropped. He's going to save that one. And that's yet another kill. Again, you want to charge as soon as a team fight goes on, because the charge marker on those heroes' head is just going one to another to another.
What do you think of this Spirit Breaker build? He's got no points in the Empowering Haste. He's gone max bash right off the bat.
I'm not really sure whether I agree with this, but I think maxing charge is probably, or at least taking up charge, because you want that cooldown to be dropping as much, or not the cooldown, but the charge speed as well, the damage and all that stuff to be max as possible. I think you at least want a single point of it for the movement speed only, but I'm very surprised to see that he hasn't gone for it. But those lucky bashes are some of the reason why they're killing things like Weavers.
Yeah, the bash percent doesn't change. It's the stun duration as well as the extra damage you get from your movement speed. And I guess you are guaranteed that the greater bash with your charge, so you're always going to need a bash to lead things off. But
well, you don't get extra damage from your charge speed because you don't have a point of empowering haste, so generally you do level that one up, and I'm very surprised to see them not doing so. Back in the mid lane here, Faith is basically dead. They actually detected smoke with a Centaur 2-man stun coming out from Alchemist, and yeah, there's an ultimate being dropped by ROTK. A second kill comes out, and it'll surprise me greatly if we don't see a GG very, very soon.
Yeah, it's only 7.5k gold lead for Vici Gaming, but there's just nothing IG can do to turn this one around, it feels like. They don't have the heroes. They've got a farming carry DK who's just gone for a drums here. It's not going to be enough. With the drums, you can't really fight. You're going to need a BKB. You need magic immunity against this team, and even then, it's no answer. You'll have no damage output as a Dragon Knight. Towers are about to start falling. Vici Gaming just obliterating and tearing apart IG.
Yeah, apart from that, you have 3 core heroes that are relying on doing okay on the early game. You don't need to, like, do really well like a Queen and Pain would have to do in the early game, but you still have to kind of come even or a little bit slightly ahead, but they don't even have any of that. What is the under-level Timbersaw going to do? I mean, he's going to shock him and try to delay this push, but it looks like Tong Fu Hao gets lifted and bam! He's dead. Well, he's not Tong Fu Hao anymore, but he's still dead.
Yeah, he's got the Tong Fu tag in there, showing homage to his old team. And we will see actually Visage take a fall nicely played. IG actually going to get a little bit out of this one, maybe. No, they can't bring down Super on the Alchemist. Whoa. Yeah, Chakram finally does, but Timbersaw going to pay for it with his life, as is Banana Song of the Siren. Is he going to use it? Nope, he's going to use a Riptide instead. Brought down by the physical damage of the Rubik, and Weaver. 430. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Rocket Barrage should finish him off. No, it's not going to happen. Ferrari actually still alive, and they're going to actually get the kill on the Gyrocopter.
Yeah,
so 4 heroes dead.
Did a ton of damage, and I got to just look to the support of Finroar as well as FY. Sakuchi on the one, dropping very, very low. Where the hell were the sentry wards in these engagements? You can't push the tier 2 against Weaver without any sentries. And as soon as 430 realized that, you can see he just Sakuchi past 5 people in the mid lane and just started backstabbing everybody. He didn't kill anybody quickly enough, but it doesn't have to be because there was no detection that kind of fight him back. So
yeah,
look towards Finroar or FY to make sure that they have detection in the next fight. That was just kind of a sloppy mistake that they shouldn't be making.
Yep, more sentries are already up on Fenrir. The other thing they were kind of badly missing, I'd say, is Super's mech. He's had this Buckler Headdress for some time, but the Alchemist not yet up to the mech. He needs another 500-ish gold to get that.
How does he not have it for, a hero with 13 assists? The Sun's going to come in against Hao. Dropping low once again, the charge's going to come right in, and AoE Sun up the walls, and cooldown's going to hit on 3 or 4. Faith is going to be the first target. 1, 2, 3 is going to be dead as well. YYF chasing away. Do we have an ultimate coming from ROTK? It's already being used. Another stun comes through, and looks like YYF is dead.
Yeah, YYF is knocking out the Timber Chain out of this one. The maxed out stun. And now Ferrari needs to be very, very careful. There's Sentry Ward should they need, but they really need a dust here, it feels like. Time Lapse is up as well, so they're probably not going to be able to kill off Ferrari, even as he's the only hero left standing. And Shikuchi, as has been most of the game, has been stolen.
Yeah, 430. Left charge on top. Did it have anything else? That's a question.
Spears dust.
Oh, the sun's going to come through after coming through with the time lapse. It doesn't matter.
Who needs dust? He doesn't even use the dust to get the kill. They dropped down the Sentry Ward and said tier 2 tower going down. 27 kills to 5. 15 minutes and a Chinese team has 27 kills, Lumi. We said we're like looking 2 days ago when we started this SinaCup, it was like, man, 3 a.m. China versus China Dota. We need our rice hats and everything, but turns out we don't.
We really do need rice hats at BTS.
We need some like Go Black fangirl shirts at BTS.
Why Go Black fangirl shirts?
This is some Go Black inspired Dota. The Space Cow. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. I don't think there's any fangirls in Dota, but that's okay.
If you're Go Black, there is.
Once you go black. I was
I
trying
knew
to
there was
see.
a joke in there somewhere.
Man, you gotta throw that joke in whenever you can. But Super gets a double damage on the mid lane. Got the mech available now. That's where really I don't think you could lose any more team fights. Exactly what IG is gonna be trying to do. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't think they could do anything with the Drum CK as their most farm and biggest DPS hero.
Yeah, the Timbersaw, absolutely nothing. Can't even get an Arcane Boots up at this point. I think you just skip the Arcane Boots, start massing braces, as Molini would definitely advocate. You're behind, you just mass braces. Bracer gaming.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Get the extra stats.
It's HP and mana. It gives you a bit of everything, but the big thing for IG is there's just very little item-wise that'll change this game. It's got to come from just well-executed team fights. It's Naga Song of the Siren isn't going to set a whole lot up. It's, I don't know, smoke ganks, where do you go? They can't really 5v5 this Vici Gaming team with the items they have.
I'm still very surprised to see that Vici Gaming trying to do smoking. They can just walk up tier 1, tier 2 and just get these towers for free, but they want hero kills. ROTK getting ready to charge AC 430. Detection's got to get dropped. Smoke is dispelled. No detection at all. But Charge's going to go in the mid lane against Hao, and nobody's stopping that just yet. Fave not in position. The sun's going to come through right now. Song of Siren as a getaway spell, but oh, 1, 2, 3. BKB says no problem.
And it looks like Banana, he's not dead yet, but he's going to be soon, very soon dead. Homing Missile is chasing him. He's got no TP scroll. There's no direction for you really to run here. The Chakram going to slow him down. Alchemist maybe actually going to stun himself. Nope, the Homing Missile doesn't kill him off, so Alchemist gets his stun out, gets the kill on Naga Siren, and Ferrari, realizing there's very little he can do here at the bottom lane.
That long chase, that's why I'm thinking about going right back in. He gets one hit bashed. TK says, welcome to my world. 430 is going to get stunned up, dusted up, lifted up, and he's going to get brought finally down. Double kill on Tutu. That's got to be GG.
It really looks like this. They're going to go to the high ground. 32 kills in 17 minutes. IG tap out. We've had so many 20-minute games in this tournament. These Chinese teams have just upped the aggression all of a sudden.
Up the aggression, or maybe not as, what's the term? Discipline in their play? Not too sure.
Was there like, did you feel IG played sloppy as far as the kills that Vici Gaming were, the early game kills at least Vici Gaming were getting, to me seemed like Vici Gaming just executing well. The Spirit Breaker charging for vision, even though he never was actually really there for the charges, he just gave the necessary vision.
I really don't think Crystal Maiden and Naga support, Naga Siren play the support that they were supposed to play, because first of all, they're not killing Spirit Breaker in lane. They're not really initiating on him. And second of all, they're allowing the Spirit Breaker to apply pressure by charging, but they never really decide to gank themselves. Yeah. So basically, they sat on the top jungle. They got level 4 on their supports when the Rubik and Visage were level 6. So they're getting out farmed in terms of experience. They're not applying any pressure in lane. And sure, you have heroes like Dragon Knight and Timbersaw and Weaver who shouldn't lose a lane by themselves, but you're not taking effect of Spirit Cow. He makes you lose lanes.
I think ROTK has been a standout player all of a sudden. Elder Titan the other day, now on the Space Count. These are the kind of heroes which really suit him. They're tanky, hard to kill, they don't feed.
And the way to play them is to run them in.
Yeah.
So, there you go. He can't even say
ROTK in his element, running into 5 heroes. And that's when he's Nature's Prophet. He'll TP into 5 heroes. And you can't do that as Nature's Prophet.
You cannot.
You have a spell which gets you in there, but you die. But Space Cow, you charge in, you're good.
Yeah, and you bash people and you kill them. So, well, that's game 1 in the books. Vici Gaming take it very, very easily. Let's see if IG have any comeback, or we're going to see yet another 2-0 sweep. So, decide us to join back at Beyond the Summit, and we'll take a momentary pause.